Welcome to the fifth and final installment of the Logic Mill series of presentations on Socratic questioning. In the next two slides, I would like to briefly share some of the theoretical underpinnings to Socratic questioning. I've already talked a lot about how we do it and why we do it and why questioning is a useful thing for the teacher. But what I wanted to share now is taking a step back. Exactly what is it that we are doing as teachers using Socratic questioning? And in order to appreciate that, we have to ask what Socratic questioning is ultimately aimed at. And at the end of the day, that's a very simple thing to say. Socratic questioning is aimed at knowing why. When we give Socratic questioning as a technique to our students, when we use it, model it, and then get them to adopt it, we are helping our students launch themselves on a journey, the purpose of which is to discover new things, to know why things are as they are. And in that discovery and pursuit of the why question, we will see that students and ourselves become increasingly able to distill and find meaning in our lives and in the parts of our lives that mean the most to us. So, taking a step back yet again, it's worthwhile to realize that there are actually three divisions to knowledge. We have know that, typically signaled by sentences like, I know that 2 + 2 = 4. I know that Singapore is a country. Know that is knowledge of facts. And in general, we use closed-end questions to quickly get at the facts. In fact, even open-ended questions that are in pursuit of the facts tend to just have a specific limited character to them. Namely, know that is usually satisfied by a specific answer to a specific question. One question, one answer usually satisfies the thirst for know that. There are two other dimensions of knowledge, though, that are worth pulling out. There's also know-how. Know-how is typically talked about in terms of skills and the cultivation of skills. For instance, somebody who knows how to swim would like to become skilled in swimming. Again, other types of know-how might be, I know how to ride a bicycle. I know how to solve problems. I know how to make friends. I know how to get along with people. All of these are examples of know-how. And the only way that know-how is cultivated is through practice. To learn to swim, splash around in the pool. To learn to make friends, meet people. To learn how to think reliably and well, think. So there's always a process involved whenever we're talking about know-how. Beyond know-how and know that, however, is another distinct form of knowing which incorporates elements of both know that and know how. And it is the notion of know why. For instance, we might want to ask, do we know why people have so much difficulty getting along? Do we know why certain musical harmonies are pleasing to the ear and others are not? Basically, if we ask any question that starts with a why, at some level, we are opening ourselves up to the organizational dimension of knowledge, the architectonic dimension, as it were. If we know why a particular fact is so, we often know the other constellation of facts that surround it. For instance, there's a reason why species are put within a particular genus and why the genus is found within a kingdom. In biology, those are typical examples, but knowledge itself is usually packaged and organized in this way. Take, for example, the craft and knowledge of an architect. This is going to rule and govern the adequacy of those arts, crafts, and sciences which fall below it. So beneath the architect, there would be those who are experts in carpentry, those who are experts in using brick and mortar. There are experts in all sorts of like electricians to help build our house. All of these particular arts are themselves full of knowledge and know-how and know why and know that. But notice that things like carpentry and the art of the electrician are themselves part of, and in some sense ruled or governed by, their adequacy in fulfilling the aims and ends of the architect. All knowledge is architectonic in this sense. Turning to the next slide, we can work through an example of this. If we organize and recognize that knowledge itself is better organized and thought in certain patterns, it turns out that we place ourselves in the way of being able to understand facts more readily. For instance, if we look for explanations and causes, this not only helps us organize information and give structure to learning, we actually deepen our understanding. For instance, if somebody asks, why do we have an army? Well, to better understand why we have an army, we can understand that, first of all, the army is similar to having a navy or an air force. Why do we have each of these branches? And to what particular purpose are these institutions aligned? Well, Army, Navy, Air Force are all part of national defense. And national defense itself is just one aspect of what the higher art or craft of statecraft is aimed. So somebody who is really doing a statesmanly job would have to worry about many dimensions of what it is for human beings to live together in a polity, and as such would have to worry about things like national defense, and then you're going to find out how do you organize an army. The adequacy of that would be how well does it serve the goals of national defense, which in turn are going to be measured by how well national defense is going to be aligned with the practice of statecraft. And beyond that, we ask, what is the object of statecraft? Why, to preserve peace and prosperity for the country. And, one might add, bring about the flourishing of the citizens within the country. So, know why is an invitation to this architectonic dimension of knowledge, where we can see that organization is something which not only sits atop knowledge, but rather helps us see, in one part relating to another, new facts, new associations, new dimensions, and new riches in our understanding. As teachers, it is our duty to help our students find greater meaning within their lives, a meaning which is best seen to emerge by understanding those structures and organizations which we find in our everyday lives. In other words, in order to find meaning, we need to know why. And that, ultimately, is going to be the object of continued and expertly pursued Socratic questioning. And this concludes the Logic Know's presentation on Socratic questioning. I hope you enjoyed it. This is Mark Milwaukee, and I wish you all a good day.